Hello, in this lesson, we'll define an important cybersecurity term, the attack surface. Attack surfaces have been with us since the dawn of time. When we started constructing houses, for example, we secured them by placing a door at the entry to keep the weather out. As soon as a bad actor opened the door and stole our valuables, we recognized that the door was, in essence, an attack surface, and so we invented locks. Doing that made the door attack surface smaller, down to the size of the lock. Now only those who know how to pick locks can break in. So, the definition of an attack surface could be any place in our environment that a bad actor can use to gain entry to or extract something of value from the places that we want to protect. Our IT environments are very similar to that house, but instead of the doors and locks, we have computer systems, networks, servers, data centers, a variety of cloud services, employees, customers, and business partners to think about as potential contributing factors to our total attack surface area. And in general, the more elements that there are in your IT environment, the larger the combined digital attack surface will be. This, of course, raises the question, what can we do about this? Well, just like in the example of the house and its door, the first step is to identify where the attack surfaces are located. Then we can take actions to reduce the size or eliminate the attack surface. Let's look at some typical IT elements, such as computer hardware and software. With the hardware, we should examine every place an attacker could possibly gain access. One example would be a specialized network interface on a server that allows administrators to access the console of the server without having to physically be next to the server and plug in a keyboard, a monitor, and a mouse. Now, does everyone in the corporate network need access to this network interface? Of course not. By simply restricting access to just the administrators that need it, we've effectively reduced this server's contribution to the total size of the attack surface. And this is just one example of a point of access on computer hardware. There are certainly many more, each adding to the size of the total attack surface. For software, there can be several ways an attacker can exploit weaknesses and access valuable data. A prime example is the presence of unfixed bugs in the software. If an attacker knows about the bugs, they could be used to gain access. Each bug in the software adds to the size of the total attack surface. To reduce this risk and the size of the attack surfaces these bugs create, the answer is simple. Keep your software patches up to date. Another example would be all the open network ports on a web server and all the software that's behind them. And as with hardware, there are many more places where software adds to the total attack surface. It's important to identify as many of these potential attack points as possible. And don't forget the humans. We can also create attack surfaces by being susceptible to social engineering, such as phishing attacks, for example. And lastly, it's important to note that with each new technology that you start using, the attack surface will grow. Take a moment to consider how much things have changed in the past decade, and how that impacts the size of the attack surface. Workers are now using mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets, and network smart devices, the Internet of Things, are popping up everywhere. This means that the act of identifying your attack surfaces is a continuous process. So now, the definition of an attack surface should be any exposed place in our environment that a bad actor can use to gain entry to or extract something of value from the places that we want to protect. It is the goal of cybersecurity professionals to identify all the attack surfaces and reduce their size, thereby reducing the risk of attack.